Hello, this is Matthew Williams. I'm having another go at making a video about how to make the Crabwood Alien Face. Earlier one cocked up because my USB camera turns the audio off when I put pictures up. So I'm using external mic, which is what I normally do. Anyway, here, Crabwood Alien Face. Notice has a big square box around the edge of it. Okay, very important that. And then you've got the sphere, which is a spiraling in circle of binary code. Now the box is very important because if you're working on a crop circle and you want to break it up into something that can be done like a television screen into lines, yeah, then it's easier to have a square like you've got on the sides here. I can't do it. Yes, on the sides here. So you have lines going down. Okay, so that's why you've got a square around the edge of it. It does help you to work. Then what you have to do is you have to subdivide it into separate sections. So I think you've got about 40 here, 40 lines upwards or downwards, preferring your choice. Then you have to measure in on a design how many sort of feet before you decide whether you're going to flatten or not flatten, or thin flattening or fat flattening. So basically what you have to do is subdivide a picture up into a certain number of portions. Then you have to work your way across each line, and you have to work out the thicknesses of the lines that you're doing as you go across the line. Now people say this is just too much, people couldn't do this, people couldn't do this. Well, they have. There's this website called the Circle Makers, or circlemakers.org, and these guys from London have in fact created these things, and they seem quite successful at it. So I'm going to show you some of their stuff in a second. What I'm going to say is that a lot of people don't do much research on this, and you know, not doing research obviously means you're not going to find out the answers, and you're not going to get to see stuff like this, which was done for Anne and Nick, which is a TV program in the UK. Now the Circle Makers made this, and you can see there's a square around the outside. Can you see the line on the left and a hint of the line at the top? Obviously there's a line at the bottom, and there's a line at the right hand side as well. So you can basically see it's been broken up into a number of horizontal lines, which some bits have been flattened and some bits haven't. And basically the designs for this are shown here. So they've actually got somebody out there working on it, okay, albeit done in daytime, because you know it was a paid for formation. So you know, and I believe we've got a photo of it here. It appeared in the newspaper. There's the photos of the people involved, Anne and Nick, TV presenters. So that was done as a demonstration. Okay, then you've got this one here, which was done as a not a demonstration, but it was done for Orange Phone Company, and you can just about see the square down the left hand side of that one. I think I've got another photo here which I will show you. This one, you can see the square definitely. You can see the square all the way around that one. So basically you have to subdivide a picture up into a certain amount of lines, and when you've subdivided it up into those lines, you have to measure each line across and decide on tape length, you know, which bits you fill and which bits you don't. Now these are the guys out doing some of the stuff. It's a bit stretched, but that's them doing some of their work, and it was one of the adverts for Orange Phone Company included this picture. By the way, that's the chief executive of Orange Phone Company. But as you can see here, the grey alien face, what you've got is on the upper section of the head, that's where the curve has to work, you know. And if you actually have a look at the curve on the back of the head, the bit that's the most white, it's not actually a perfect curve, but the eye will actually correct and make you think you're seeing what you want to see. So it doesn't have to be as accurate as, you know, when you defocus your eyes, you get the image your brain wants to see, but in fact, you know, the lines there are, you know, a little bit jagged. So if you go below the chin, have a look below the chin. Now there's not much detail in that section at all. You've just got a few lines with a few bits of shading. It's all a bit random really. So you know, when you're talking about how much you actually have to complete, it's only really, I think, the head you have to be concerned about, because the lower half isn't as complicated as it looks. Now then, the spiral disc, that's basically somebody would have something like a hoop or a ring or a drum or a bicycle wheel, and they would have around this bicycle wheel they would have rope going round and round and round, twine or tape going round and round it, and it's wound on, so that what you do is you stand in the centre of the circle and you start to unwind. So I'll try and do it this way. So if you stand in the centre of the circle and you start to unwind off the drum, and as you go you get given more tape because the tape's unwinding, and then it basically comes out, and because it's got a large circumference on the drum, it basically feeds out more and more and more, and you come out in a spiral, and it just spirals out and gets bigger and 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 bigger, and then you've got a big spiral, and then all you have to do is you have to stand on the outer part of the spiral and feed your tape out a certain distance. So obviously you're going to have a list of measurements of, you know, flatten 4 feet, measure 5 feet, don't flatten 7 feet, then flatten, you know, 4 feet, and it's going to be 4 feet, 3 feet, 6 feet, 2 feet. It's going to be light, dark, all the way around the spiral, and you just measure a little bit and flatten a bit and measure another bit and flatten a bit, or don't flatten a bit and measure. It's like that. Same procedure for the alien face, which is going to be basically, once you've done your lines across horizontally all the way down, you've done all those little lines and they're all in place ready, you go to line 1. And you look at your list and you say, line 1 says I must go into the field this much. So you take your tape measure, flatten for, you know, 7 feet, or taper, as they did in that one. They actually taper down for 4 feet, and then after that taper down another 3 feet. So basically you do the measurements, then you move to line 2, and you look at your diagram and it says, right, go across 15 feet, do a thin tapering line for 7 feet, and you tick them off. You tick them off the list, and if you get confused, you just count up the side of where you're working to see how many lines up you are, and you go back to your list and you go, all right, we're here. So I mean, basically, it's, you know, it's like it's a flattening or not flattening exercise. It's a picture just like you have on a computer screen or a television screen, broken up into a set of lines, and I can't see what is humanly impossible about making something like this. The fact that it's done in the dark, yeah. Now, I will say that I am not making the statement, I am not making any statement to say that the circle makers from circlemakers.org made the Crabwood alien face, but if you look at the principles involved and you look at the fact that they've been able to replicate the exact same technique, I think it says a lot. So, goodbye.